Good morning, meanderers, and here we are in the beautiful Hampshire village of Exbury, and we're just out on a little wander before we go to class. Typically Moss has got himself tangled up already. Let's get you sorted, mister. One, there we go. But yeah, what a cool place. Look at these old petrol pumps. But yeah, we're just going to go for a short little stroll, let him get his sniffs out of the way. Come on. Go on, Moss, let's go. So we're just going to take a little quick 20-minute stroll before class. So don't really know what we're going to stumble along across. And yeah, just it's going to be more of a point-to-point rather than a circular, which is my least favourite type of walking. But I don't want to do another lap of that field. I'm going to do that at lunchtime instead. Yeah, first time camping out in the Volvo. That was an experience. It was decent though, to be fair. Wasn't too bad at all. Did a job, lots of considerations for our big trip. Definitely need a roof box. 100%. Wow, what a lovely part of the world this is. Just down on the south coast of England. This way, Moss. So that's another spot where I could probably quite easily take him off lead, but I'm not going to. Don't fancy like losing a puppy before class. Go on, Mossy, let's go. But yeah, just yesterday was a bit more of a local walk. I didn't actually do that one this morning. I just took him up to the dog park on the campsite and just threw a ball a little bit. And then I'm going to take him for this little 20-minute walk, and then we'll go have a nice big loop later on this evening when we've got a little bit less stress on the go. I've got some revision to do before I get into my course as well. Going to be doing a training session, a 10-minute one, like taking sort of like a class as it were. So that's going to be interesting. Take a time check. 22. Okay. 5 minutes this way and then we'll go back, basically. Just don't want to be late. We have lots to consider. Today I'm going to be teaching heel and the benefits of that. When you're sort of trying to break down the whole process and the task when your dog does it, it's quite hard. Although Moss doesn't always do it. Moss, heel. Moss, heel. 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 Good boy, yes. That gives you a loose lead. Moss, come on. I need to be able to lure him a bit. What's this? Good boy. Heel. Yes. Good boy. Eyes, good boy, yes. And generally speaking, I then extrapolate sort of what I want from him as I go. So goes from, you know, the heel position, and then once he's in the heel, I want to be engaging with the eyes. These are like things that come, they're sort of, what's the word? Different practices altogether, but ultimately complementary practices. Moss, let me just sort out your lead. There's one leg. Can we get the other leg, please? That's number 4. 4. There we go. And I count his legs when I go round as well. So it's starting to like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's especially handy when you're drying his little feet. Nice bit of green space. Gorgeous. But yeah, I'm thoroughly enjoying this canine learning experience and training, and you know, endeavouring to get into professional training myself. But like I say in one of the previous videos, I'm really happy with the IMDT, their ethics, their approach. And yeah, it's just a good outfit. Yeah, he's trotting along really nice and loose. Yeah, I almost want to recite what I'm going to be teaching today, but I'm going to have to withhold some of that because I'm a little bit nervous. But yeah, Exbury, what a treat. We got a few places that we've marked down as must visits whilst we're here. There's a castle not too far away that I wouldn't mind getting out to over the course of this journey. Unfortunately, I can't get the ferry. It's a good half-hour walk each way to get to this certain section. So we might need to sort of have a slightly longer walk with a break in the middle. And then there's also, what's it called? It's Moon something or other. And it's just this rolling sort of flatland. And it's just so nice, or at least it looks that way. Loads of like cows roaming, wild horses. So a few distractions that we're going to have to deal with. Definitely no off-lead work to be done. This is one thing that maybe this journey, this adventure is not going to involve too much of, is having the boy off-lead, which is a shame. But I'm very conscious of the wildlife in this part of the world. But look at this. Heaven. Moss, heel. Heel. What's this? Moss, heel. 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 Good boy, yes. Now I'll let him roll on from the hill position. But again, you want to build up the duration over time. I'm just sort of getting him into the position, letting him roll off. Let's keep repeating that process. I also do follow as well, which is a variation of heel where you lure from the backs of your heels rather than your side at the hip, and that left-hand orthodox heel. But it's also handy to teach that right-hand one as well, especially when you're on a busy road. Leave it. Bloody mushrooms. Definitely don't want you eating no mushrooms, buddy. Good boy. Thanks for checking in. Right, let's get around this corner, see what it's got to offer, because we can always come back and do this walk at a later date. Look at this. Isn't this cool? You a good boy. Moss, this way. Heel. Good boy. And he's run past that heel position, so kind of using it for recall, but he's not always getting there as good as he can. Heel, Moss. Moss, heel. Eyes. Yes. Heel. Moss, heel. Good boy, yes. Heel. Yes. Good boy. Heel. Heel. Good boy, yes. And every time he checks in with me, I let him have a treat. And now that train's done, off that lead, let him just roam ahead for a little bit. Nose to the ground, taking in all that information. Yeah, I desperately need to make some notes as well before class. It's going to be a frantic one. Grab a coffee, frantically scribble some notes, and then do that impromptu, off-the-cuff type style that I do with my videos and every speech I've ever given, whether that's in business or being the best man at 2 weddings, which was a real honour. also a master of ceremonies at another. So I'm used to my public speaking. But when you're teaching something that, you know, you're pretty confident with, but you're just not 100% on the delivery, it is so nerve-wracking. So nerve-wracking. But I've always found if you don't stick to a strict plan in terms of what you're going to say, it's always that little bit more organic. Gives you the opportunity to freestyle a little bit, and again, you've got to be confident to do it. Something I've had to learn to do over many years, decades in fact. And just, you know, basically my style of speech is I won't ever write anything fully down, but I know sort of the journey that I want to take that speech along. So I'll make a bunch of bullet points and then I'll basically elaborate on those. And yeah, that makes for a slightly varied, but with some kind of regiment to it as well. So at least I'm covering, as long as I'm covering those key topics, what I fill the gaps with is partially important. It's not as important as the actual info I'm giving on the main bullet points. But yeah, I know speech making isn't for everybody. But it's a good skill to have under your belt, and especially from a perspective of teaching. Yeah, it's a very important to have those interpersonal skills developing. And yeah, I've given speeches in front of big audiences. You know, I think the biggest one I ever did was about 400 people at university. That was very daunting, having an entire lecture room looking at you during a technical speech about business. I've also done a lot of consultancy and training in my current area of expertise, which is car detailing. And I've very much enjoyed car detailing the last 20 odd years. But it's just time for a change. And don't get me wrong, I'm not going to put my tools down, but I'm going to put them down full time. I know that much. It's been an incredible journey, but my back hurts, my knees ache. But also as well, I require, or one of my requirements is to have an active job. And something that I'm passionate about as well, being self-employed. You've got to be passionate about your work. And this is why I'm getting into the dog industry. Because my initial background, my early background, was dogs for 5 years with the Kennel Club. So, yeah, have a good amount of knowledge, or you know, precursive knowledge to all of this, but training and sort of behavioural therapy and psychology side of things is reasonably new to me. But funnily enough, it's amazing how much business psychology, Moss, come, nay, good boy. Yeah, how much actually like rolls over into the canine world. It's quite phenomenal, really. Like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, for those of you that are familiar, all the way from your basic survival needs, food and shelter, all the way up to self-actualization, which is what we all want to achieve, but not everybody gets there. So, but it's a nice theory. And dogs are exactly the same, just different drivers. Yeah, starting to get back up towards where we need to be. A very short walk from Moss this morning, only, what's that? Just well, be about 20 minutes with the road walking involved as well. Moss, heel. What's this? Heel. Moss, heel. Moss, heel. Yes, good boy. Heel, boss. Moss. Straight into the bush. Moss, heel, heel, zit. Good boy. Didn't sit, but It's actually not what I was asking him to do. I was asking him to heel, and he was in the heel position. So, but yeah, even Moss is a work in progress. So even Moss is a work in progress. Of course he is. He's a puppy. But yeah. Anyways, guys, from Exbury, Hampshire, this is Moss Meanders. So thank you ever so much for tuning in once again for another short but sweet episode. But yeah, anyways, guys, keep on meandering, stay positive, and much love.